What's going on, guys? Ferocity here. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. There's a new game mode in Battlefield 6. A game mode that might be a bit controversial. I mean, it's already dividing players. But is it a problem, or is it just a solution to a problem that Battlefield themselves created? Well, let's talk about it. The new game mode is called Casual Breakthrough. And I'm probably assuming you know what that means. Yes, this mode has bots. And it's very interesting considering the fact that it feels like Battlefield doesn't know what its player base wants. See, there was a major issue at launch with Battlefield 6's portal, where the portal was overtaken by XP farms, by bot lobbies. And I personally advocated for more personalized experiences that promoted creativity versus just XP farms. However, this is how the game was marketed. It was marketed that you could play the game with full XP. And when you bait and switch your community, that's a no-go for me. And this seems to be a middle ground, but I don't think it's done well. Let's discuss it. So this is from Battlefield Comms. Introducing Casual Breakthrough. We understand that sometimes you want to jump into Battlefield, but without the intensity of a full PvP lobby. To create a more relaxed way to play while still earning progression and completing challenges, we're introducing Casual Breakthrough. And this new mode is now live in the main menu under Multiplayer tab. And this came out at the beginning of the month, so a couple days ago. Here's what you can expect. Smaller player teams, 16 real players, 8 per team, and 32 bot teammates and enemies, 16 per team. So of your 32 players per team, 1/3 of them are real players, 2/3 of them are bots. Progression, earn career XP, weapon XP, battle pass XP, and complete challenges. Here's where we get into some muddied waters though. Full XP from real player actions, reduced XP from bot actions. The maps. The initial maps available in the mode are Siege of Cairo and Empire State, so a smaller map pool. What Casual Breakthrough won't offer: dog tags and accolades and career stat updates. So if you want to pursue a really high KD, not sure why you'd care about that in a Battlefield game, but let's say that's something you care about, it's not going to matter for Casual Breakthrough. And then they finish this off with, let us know what you think on the new mode. We'll be monitoring your feedback to determine if further adjustments are needed in the future. We'll see you there on the battlefield. So this is very clearly Battlefield trying to extend an olive branch to the players that feel sort of abandoned by the decision on nerfing XP and XP farms through the portal. Nerfing XP with bot lobbies as well. And it's just like, that's how you advertise the game, and then you just rug pulled everybody and gave them a completely different experience than the one you had originally marketed. It just doesn't feel right, and I'm 100% on the side of people that feel that way, because I think it's completely fair to feel that way. And to me, all of this just feels extremely half-assed, thrown together in a panic. And I'm not saying that I'm against the idea of having casual modes. I actually think that's perfectly fine. But why nerf the XP? Why are they so concerned about XP progression? I get that you can get better weapons. I get that you can complete challenges a little bit easier. But like, shouldn't the core draw to your game just be its gameplay? Shouldn't that be where your game thrives the most instead of on its progression or on its unlockable challenges? Like, to me, if I'm Battlefield, however people want to progress in the game, that should be up to them. What Battlefield should focus on is making the best game possible, which means ensuring that things like hit detection are fantastic, making sure that maps are good, making sure that the weapons are balanced. That matters more to me than progression any day of the week. Making sure that the vehicles aren't underpowered or overpowered, because right now I'd argue a lot of the air vehicles are a little underpowered. Making sure that, the game is well balanced and well tuned, which I'd argue right now it's not. There's a myriad of problems the game has. And all of this lends itself to show that Battlefield seems to care more about you being forced to grind the way they want you to versus the way that I think you could do it however you want it, right? Like, I'm looking at this and I'm saying I'm 100% for the casual breakthrough mode, but I don't understand whose benefit it is to reduce the bot XP earn rate. It doesn't affect anybody. Like, who cares if somebody just grinds bot lobbies and gets a bunch of unlockables? At the end of the day, it's still a 32v32 game. And there's other exploits that this game has that are much more apparent and much more game breaking than somebody who's progressing quicker than everybody else. I mean, we can all point to the rooftop problem the game has right now, where people get to roofs that are only accessible from air vehicles and they just rain down hell all over you, which essentially breaks the game and ruins the experience for a lot of players. And because there's such limited destruction, you don't really have any recourse. Those people can just continuously spawn up there all game long, and you're just kind of forced to deal with it, and it sucks, and it makes the game less enjoyable. But yes, please, once again, find ways to nerf the XP, because that's the real problem the game has. That's the real issue that's in Battlefield 6. None of the other gameplay problems. So this is where my issue is. It just feels like their priorities are misaligned at the moment. They care so much about trying to force progression to go in a certain fashion instead of realizing that their gameplay experience needs to be optimized and improved. That would be where my focus is. And I get that these are two different teams working on everything. I'm not saying that like it's one developer picking and choosing what they want to work on. I'm just saying that if I'm Battlefield, nerfing XP doesn't really do anything to make my game more enjoyable. But fixing major exploits goes a lot further, right? Fixing major problems with bloom and hit detection, that goes a lot further with this community than nerfing XP. I mean, it affects everybody. You know, why cater everything to a small subsection of this player base and try to make their lives living hells instead of improving everyone's experience? So that's where I sit with this. I'm not necessarily going to say I want to see every game mode have a casual game mode, but I think that their existence is perfectly fine. It's not something that's going to ruin my Battlefield 6 experience, because guess what? Conquest is still going to be available. And some of those lobbies have bots anyways because of the way that Battlefield 6 does their lobbies to begin with. Because heaven forbid persistent lobbies, even though that's something that the player base has asked for. Nope, what we're going to do instead of that is move you in and out of lobbies all the time. And sometimes you'll play against real players and sometimes you won't. At least with casual, you know that part of your lobby is filled with bots. When you're playing regular Conquest or regular Breakthrough or whatever, you don't know. and that's part of the issue. And I come to this conclusion that I would prefer them to perfect the Battlefield experience versus caring about how much XP they're giving players. That's for me. Like, I think the very consistent feedback from the player base has been the fact that the challenges are just like nauseatingly hard or nauseatingly long and kind of just overly tedious. And the progression feels that way in general. And when you're trying to stop that progression from being quicker in any way, shape, or form, it just makes it feel like you're trying to extend the grind for the sake of it instead of trying to make the best possible game. And that's what I keep going back to, and that's what I keep reiterating and highlighting, but it's the truth. I'm highlighting these things because that's where their mindset should be. If you want to compete with Call of Duty, you need to have an optimal product. You need to have a great gameplay experience. And right now, there are just other issues that matter more. Simple as that. So I'm going to sit with the people that say that this is not enough when it comes to how we're approaching the bot versus player situation, because XP just shouldn't be this big of a debate. It really shouldn't. What should matter more is making the game as good as possible. So that's where I lie on this. And again, I've said it from the beginning. I believe Portal should be for creative experiences, and these kind of bot lobby XP farms, they could exist more locally, and I'd be fine with that. Again, offer full XP. Doesn't really matter to me. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, because I know it is a bit controversial. I know that people have their own opinions. I mean, one of my worst videos ever for like to dislike ratio was talking about this. So I know a lot of people care deeply about the bot lobbies of the XP farms because that's what they were promised. And I think it's totally fine to defend that. So I'd love to hear your thoughts again down below in that comment section. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. If you want to see more videos from me, please hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you guys next time.